Hey, my friend, do you feel weighed down by life? Do you find yourself being really scared and not knowing where to go or who to turn to? Do you feel as though you've been defeated? Well, you haven't, and you won't. That's my promise to you. More importantly, that's our Lord's promise to you. You see, you aren't as weak as you think you are. Satan wants you to feel weak. He wants to convince you that you're not strong enough to handle the things God has given you in your life. He wants you to feel like you're too weak to speak up for what's right. He wants you to feel as though you're too weak to stand firm and speak about your faith. He wants to convince you to give up. Quite frankly, that's what he wants. He wants you to just throw in the towel and give up. No need for that, I assure you. No need at all. You are stronger than you think you are. Listen to what St. Paul said he wrote to the Philippians. This is really important because I think these verses from Philippians chapter 4 that St. Paul wrote, I think they apply to every one of us. I have to tell you, there are times I get really scared too. I know it's, you see my happy face and you hear my confident voice, but hey, you know what? I hear you. I get scared sometimes too. I feel overwhelmed sometimes. I feel too weak to handle what God has given me in my life. I feel too weak to even read the news or listen to what's going on in the world on a podcast or a truthful media program. It's tough. But here, let these words of St. Paul encourage you. Okay, so this is verse 10 through 13. I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at length you have revived your concern for me. Remember, he's in prison. You were indeed concerned for me, but you had no opportunity. Not that I complain of want, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and want. I can do all things in him who strengthens me. You see, that's the key right there. I can do all things in him who strengthens me. We look at Paul and we think, well, he can say that because, well, he was Paul. He was the apostle of all the apostles in the sense that he had been referred to as the greatest of all the apostles by so many of the popes throughout the centuries, the greatest of the apostles. So, yeah, of course he can say, I can do all things in him who strengthens me. But you know what? He isn't saying that really for himself. I mean, think about this. The letter is addressed to the Philippians, all right? So he's writing this to encourage them by his example. I can do all things in him who strengthens me. So who's the him? Well, of course it's our Lord. Of course it is. I can do all things in him who strengthens me. He is telling us all. He's telling the Philippians, he's telling you, he's telling me, he's telling every single person that you, as if he were speaking directly to you, you can do all things in him who strengthens you. And who strengthens you? Jesus. Jesus Christ himself strengthens you. Even when you think you're too weak to ask for strength. Yeah, that's right. He never lets up on you. He never gives up. He never abandons you. The scaredness, the fright that you feel isn't from Jesus. It's from the evil one. That's what he wants. You see, if you feel powerless and afraid, then he can manipulate you far better. If you stand strong and claim Jesus Christ as the source of your strength and accept the strength that he gives you, Satan doesn't have a hold on you. It's impossible. He can't. He can't possibly. If you give all of your fear and all of your weakness, all of your concerns, all of your doubts, if you give them to Christ our Lord, he'll take them and he will turn them into strength. How do I know that? Because that's what I have done many, many times in my life. That's what I do now. And I promise you that's what I'll always do. All of my doubts, all of my concerns, all of my fear, all of my pain, I give to Jesus. And it's a simple prayer. It's a simple prayer that I say, Jesus, please accept my doubts and fears. Accept this situation that I'm so worried about. Accept my worry. Accept my smallness. Accept my weakness. I could go on and on and on. Accept it, please. And replace it with your strength. So many times, especially lately, it's tough. It's a tough world. We're in tough times. So many times, sometimes, often, many times a day, I will stop and just pause, close my eyes, and I'll say, Lord, lift this fear from my heart. He will. He will. Try it. Please, you do it. Close your eyes and say, Lord, lift this fear from my heart. I have too many friends who are living in fear right now, and it breaks my heart. They're terrified of the virus. They're terrified of all of the newscasts. I have to be very careful because YouTube likes to censor. They're terrified of what they hear on the news, which often is exaggerated and downright untruthful, quite frankly. They're terrified of getting sick. They're terrified of dying. They're terrified of losing someone they love. Now, those are serious things, and I'm not saying that we should just blow them off and forget about them. I understand that these are real fears for these people. But when the fear completely governs their lives, ruins their lives, so that they can barely breathe, they can barely function, that they cower in fear in their homes. And I know people who are doing this right now. And then that fear leads to labeling, judgmentalism, division, ostracizing. Trust me, it's happened to me from friends who are living in fear. It can't be fun for them. My heart breaks for them. Because while we need to address the real concerns at hand, there is absolutely no reason to be overcome by fear, so that we hurt others, so that we even hurt ourselves in a sense of isolating ourselves or making ourselves sick over fear. All we need to do is stop, close our eyes, and say, Lord, lift this fear from my heart. Give me your strength. That's what St. Paul is talking about. I can do all things in him who strengthens me. When we allow Jesus to rule our lives instead of Satan, we can do all things in him. Thanks for tuning in. Please do me a favor. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please also go to my website, margefenelon.com. Subscribe there to Mary Mail. Every single week, you'll receive a brief reflection that will help you grow in your faith. And please share this video. I think it's a very important message. I can do all things in him who strengthens me. Satan wants you to be afraid. Don't do it. Don't let him rule over you. God bless you, my friend. Until next time.